Hello guys, welcome to day 7 of the 60 Paisa program, the 60-day program on Amazon by Indian Seller Academy. Again, I am Dev and I welcome you to day 7 where you are going to learn everything that you need to learn in a nutshell. If you are going to sell on Amazon, these are the bare minimum things that you must be aware of. There are again a lot of things that you can skip, but again these are the most important ones and you need to know about them. It is mandatory or it is compulsory, to be honest, for you to become a good seller on Amazon, that you know these things in detail, right? So that being said, let's not waste any time in this. It will be a very long session and definitely very worthwhile as well. So let's get started. So the first one, again, I keep talking about this particular aspect of e-commerce and entrepreneurship. It's mindset. You have to believe in the process and the results will automatically come, right? There are a lot of issues that a entrepreneur faces, and especially an e-commerce entrepreneur faces, which is how to deal with dead stock, how to deal with failed products. People launch products, they see that it's not working, it's not profitable, and then they basically see that it's the end of life, right? They see it as a failure and they frown upon it, right? The whole idea is keep your mindset strong. Think of ways how you can come out of it, right? We will discuss some of the strategies as well as to how we can deal with dead stocks and failed products, but that is towards the later end of the program. Again, the next set of issues where it affects the mindset of a seller is the competitor ill practices. Right now Amazon is a platform where you will face a lot of competition, and I'm being honest with you, right? You are bound to face a lot of competition. If there's no competition, there is no learning curve, right? And again, in terms of ill practices, right, people will hijack your listing, people will map their products to your listing and take advantage of your reviews in terms of organic reach. People will complain against your listing as well in terms of infringement. So you have to be very practical about all these issues and have to deal them in the correct order, right? If you see that okay, this is an issue that they have raised, or this is a ill practice that they are doing, and you will be rejected or dejected about it, either rejected by Amazon or rejected by yourself, then you have to think out of the box and how you can solve these issues. And that's where I will also help in in your journey as well. I guess Amazon requires a lot of training and support in terms of these issues that come from time to time, and you have to deal with them in a very particular manner to solve these issues. In your case, you need not worry, I am there definitely to help you out. Now, again, the fourth point being resolve any issues. However, these are platform related issues. A lot of times you have to contact to seller support team to basically reconcile the inventory, check if the inventory is calculated correctly, E to Z claims, and there are a lot of things that you want to coordinate with the Amazon team to ensure things are working correctly. So this is where again one place where mindset matters a lot. You have to do regular follow-ups, you have to keep digging them and encouraging them to solve the issue. So do not get disheartened in any place wherever you see that there is some sort of miscommunication between you and what the Amazon seller support team is trying to understand. So you have to be very patient there. And then again, last but the most important of all, if you are a new seller and if you are not getting sales, do not think that your product is a bad product, right? It could be a lot of issues why you're not getting sales, and the program is focused more so importantly into factors and into reasons how you can identify why you are not getting sales. So I'm pretty sure by the end of the program you will have answers to all of these questions and you will have a much stronger mindset. Okay, that being said, I will not spend a lot of time on mindset. As I mentioned, it will be a lot of topics that we are going to cover today. So let's get started. Amazon terms of service. This is the second one, and it is very important. If you are selling on Amazon, it is a must. It is mandatory that you follow the rules of the game, right? Whether it is your products and the description of the products, the title of the products, there are particular guidelines that you should follow. In terms of images, again, you cannot keep any images that you have to showcase, right? Those images have to follow Amazon guidelines. They should have a transparent white background, fall under the community guidelines, should not have any profanity. So all these things you should have to keep in mind. If you violate any of the rules in terms of images or titles, your listing might be suppressed, and as an extended warning or action, your account might also be suppressed or suspended. So be careful about these things. Again, Amazon considers them very carefully and reviews them also from time to time basis. In terms of certification and information, again, certain products might fall under the restricted category. So you might have to provide certain certifications for you to be eligible to sell those products on Amazon. Now these can be either consumables or people or things that you apply on the body. Anything that is applied on the body or consumed within the body is something that you can think of requires a certification. But keeping this aside as well, a lot of electronic gadgets, a lot of gadgets that have steel, these also require a lot of certifications, and you have to provide them to Amazon so that you are eligible to sell on Amazon for those particular products. Then let's talk about copyrights, infringements, patents, and trademarks, right? So when you talk about infringements, right, you do not want to sell a brand's product, an existing brand's product, without their authorization or their approval. So that is where a lot of infringement cases arise, when people or other brands complain that they are selling the product without their permission. Copyrights are with images and bullet points, texts. So if you're copying and pasting someone else's listing directly using their information, then a brand who's registered with Amazon or enrolled in the brand registry program, they can complain that you are using their intellectual property or copyrighted images. Trademarks is again falling into terms of protection and resonates somewhere around copyrights. However, it can be a trademark related to a brand logo or a brand image or a brand name. So be sure that you are not using any reference to any other brand name, image, or logo. And patents, again, it's not very relevant in Indian context because not a lot of products sold on Indian marketplace are patented, but this will be a concern when you go and sell on the Amazon.com marketplace, which is the USA marketplace. Right here, you have to make sure that the product that you're selling is not a patented product, whether it's a utility patent or it's a design patent. Okay, so keep these things in mind in terms of Amazon terms of service. Again, there's a lot of documentation available on the Seller Central page and dashboard, and make sure that you go through the terms of service before starting or launching a new product. That is very essential. Let's get started again in terms of account health. Right now, account health is a very important yet at a very high level information. Right, so there are three types or three things that account health monitors. It basically represent whether you are green. Green means good, which is you are in a good state and your account is safe to operate as a seller on Amazon. In case it ranges to orange or red regions, then it might be that you are under suspicion and your account might fall either suspended or suppressed for a long time. So three things to keep in mind here. First is customer service. In terms of customer service, is the quality of the product good enough? Are you having low order defect rate? If the returns are less than a particular percentage, these all fall under the customer service. If you are complying with Amazon service, right, you're not communicating directly with the customer, you're not giving them incentives to go give a good review. So all these come under customer service. Policy compliance, again, as long as you follow Amazon's policies, you are good, right? You should not be infringing any other brands products. You should not be taking copyrighted images. You should not resort to false practices like going to other sellers page and giving a false review. You should not pay your buyers for a good review. So these are in terms of Amazon compliances, and Amazon basically takes a very strong action for people who violate these compliances. Now that does not mean that anytime mistakenly if you violate a particular compliance, Amazon would directly straight away suspend. They almost in every cases they send a mail saying that this is a reason and they suspect you for so and so reasons. You will have to provide a plan of action to get out of it. So again, that's very straightforward. It's just that you should be aware of these protocols and the process so that you can save yourself once you have something like this imposed on your account. The third is shipping performance, and that is to do with dispatch rates, right? If you are doing your dispatching, if you are dispatching your orders regularly in time, if you're keeping the handling time in a good number, right? If you're handling a particular product in 10 days, then Amazon is not going to appreciate it very much. The normal turnaround time or a handling time for a particular product to be packed and shipped is somewhere around 2 to 3 days. When I say handling time, it's basically when the good is ready to be shipped. That is the handling time from the time an order is placed on Amazon till the time the order is ready to be shipped is called handling time. And make sure that the handling time is less than 3 odd days. Again, it takes into consideration all the shipping related aspects, whether the shipment was on time, whether the late deliveries were not there, if the returns are processed correctly. All these things come into shipping performance. So make sure your account health is really good, is in a good state, and is in a green state. Otherwise you can face some implications from Amazon seller support team. Okay, moving on, we have product selection. Yeah, we have product selection. So when I talk about product selection, right, it's not just picking any particular product which you want to sell on Amazon. No, you need not be very emotional. In fact, you must not be very emotional with your particular product. I always stress upon the fact that product selection means product research and validation as well, right? It is not just research but also validating whether a particular product would do good or not, and that is an art. That is simply an art which you will gain expertise over in terms of the time you are there as an Amazon seller. First of all, things that you have to take care about is competition. If the particular product has too much of competition, avoid it. If it has very less competition, think about it. And if it has competition in between, that is your safe zone. That is where you can play, and you can think of launching a product. Pricing, again, it should not be too low where the margins are very less. You are spending a lot on advertisements in market capture, and then the margins are very less. It should not be too high for a marketplace like India. In India, because a lot of people do not go for premium products which are more than 6-7 thousand and money. I'm not talking about electronics are costly, but in terms of general physical products, people do not spend more than 5,000 in India. So be in a good price range, which is somewhere around 799 to 4,000, 3,500. That is a good price range to fall into. In terms of demand, again, you have to track the number of sales a particular product is getting when before launching that particular product, right? So you look at competitors, see how they are performing, get an idea of the sales projection, and then think if this is something that you can also replicate and even get better out of it. In terms of volume, again, going with a demand hand to hand, I guess it's self-explanatory. Make sure that you have enough volume of sales in one particular day. When I say enough volume of sales, for a product worth, let's say 1500, you should be aiming at somewhere around 10 sales, 15 sales a day. Again, this is just a par, right? If it is better, well and good. If it is less, does not mean that you are doing terribly bad, right? Again, that's a good area to be in. In terms of products, also think whether your product is a one-time purchase for buyers or customers, or is it a subscription based product, right? Normally, in terms of medicines, in terms of any food product, in terms of any pet products, these are all subscription based, right? You purchase it and then after 2 months or 1 month you all again require it. So again, if your product is a subscription based product, make sure the quality of the product is important. Unless and until the quality is important, you are not going to get the reorder again. If it's a physical product which is only meant to be sold once to one particular customer, then again you can think about you are much safer that way. But in case it's a subscription based product, make sure that you have good quality reviews, good quality product, and the packaging is also up to the mark. Differentiation again matters a lot. How you can differentiate your particular product compared to the other competitors is something that almost every new seller on Amazon fails, and that is an art that you will learn with time to time. How you can differentiate the same product, but again on Amazon it must look differently, right? In terms of the main image, in terms of the advertisements, how can you make something that is exactly similar to what another seller is selling, but presented in a very different manner? And I'm going to talk about it as well in the next few slides. Operational risk, again, let's say when your product is there but it's not doing very well, you have dead stock, the quality of the product is not good, the boxes get damaged. In that case, you have to be very mindful of what can you do with the stock, right? And that is where operational risk comes into picture. So you have to think in minds as to, a product which you are delivering must be very stable and sturdy, right? I always recommend a 3 feet drop test. You take the product, you throw it from a height of 3 feet, and then you see if the product is good, in a good shape, right? Which basically says that during the operation process or during the fulfillment process, if any of the goods get thrown or get intermixed or mishandled, they are still in a condition that the seller will be able to accept it, use it, and be happy about it. So that's in terms of product selection, research, and validation. Moving on, we are going to talk about profitability, and here a very important thing is it's not just the cost price of the product and the selling price of the product that determines the profitability. It's not a simple calculation as such. You have to consider all the aspects, right? Keep in mind the Amazon fees, product dimensions, and how dimensions play a role into the commission as well. We will definitely cover all of these in much detail in the Amazon fees session, which I guess is on day 13, and we will cover it in much more detail, but I just wanted to cover it because profitability is something that you should always think about. This is a art that you will have to learn in case you are looking to sell on Amazon. You can have a lot of revenue, right? You can have revenue in millions, but your profit might be close to zero or even 2 or 3%. So it's very important you do your mathematics correctly. Keep in mind Amazon fees, product dimensions, and the role it has with fees, shipping charges if you are doing a self shipment, which are the 3PL services that you should go ahead with, what are the taxes and how they play a role into your profit margins, how they change the profit margin significantly. And that is where kitna milega is not so accurate. I will talk about it in profitability calculation and product research as well, where I say that kitna milega is not the best tool to give you the right profitability metric. Then in terms of profitability, do calculate the cost of your secondary and tertiary products in case your product is a bundle of 2 or 3 products, right? You have to calculate those as well in the cost of goods. And then labeling and printing, although they are not very significant, but in case you are giving an insert, in case you are giving some card within your particular product, then make sure that you include that cost as well. Sometimes it could be as much as 15 to 20 rupees per product. So that is a good enough margin in terms of profit percentage. So make sure that you calculate your cost of good, your landing cost of the good, covering all these expenses as well. I guess I've missed transportation, but that is also something that you should keep into mind. Okay, now coming to cash flow, and we are going to cover cash flow in detail on day 9th, and again it is very significant. Now profitability and cash flow are very closely related. However, there is a difference between the two, and normally people confuse between these two, right? It's very important that you understand how cash flow can be managed when you are working on Amazon or be it any business, right? The amount of cash in hand that you have is very important for your next inventory purchase, and is very important to keep the cash rolling every 1 or 2 months. It depends upon a lot of factors, and as I mentioned, we'll cover it in day 9th of the training program. Sales velocity, market demand, seller history, lead time, dead stock clearance, and launch. All of these factors determine how solid cash flow you will have, and as I mentioned, we will cover them. But I guess from the names itself you can understand why these are so impactful to the cash flow. A high sales velocity would mean you will sell your products faster, the more easily you will have, the more quickly you will have the cash with you. Market demand, if the product or a niche is very demanding, let's say for example fitness, right? You would definitely choose fitness, baby products. Again, India population is a concern, right? So if you go with baby products, you are definitely going to find that demand. So make sure that for a steady cash flow, you have your products in a niche which has a high demand. Seller history, again, why this is important is because when you register as a new seller, you will have a 2-week payout from Amazon. You will get your payments after every 2 weeks, and then it reduces slowly to 1 week till 3 days till 1 day, depending upon your seller history and performance. Lead time, again, you do not want your suppliers to produce the goods in months, right? Ideally your supplier should be ready with the products in a matter of 7 days till 10 days, and if it's China, then maybe 2 weeks at max. Dead stock clearance, again, a lot of dead stocks causes a lot of cash to be blocked, and you do not want that to happen. So we are going to talk about this in the cash flow section as well. And launches, again, very important. If you launch correctly, right, your sales velocity will be maintained, the market demand will be satisfied, and you will have a lot of cash flowing in. If the launch is not as good, you will feel that the orders that you're getting are much less compared to the other competitors what they are getting. So that is in terms of cash flow. As I mentioned, profitability and cash flow, we will be keep covering and touching these points throughout the training program. Presentation, right? And when I talk about presentation, it's just not images. Presentation involves your brand story, right? How can people recall, or how can your people relate to your brand? What does your brand talk about? How you are showcasing your A plus content, which is the enhanced brand content, and these are flashy images that you find below in the description section of your detail page. We are going to talk about images and videos in great detail in somewhere in the middle of the training program. Ease of information, how quickly or how easily a seller, a buyer or a customer can digest your product detail page, right? You can have a lot of information on your page and be fussy about it, or you can keep it very simple so that information is accessible easily and they can retrieve it in case of the product is there in their cart. Recall value again means, let's say I'm trying to buy something, right? I will definitely explore 3 to 4 options. Now if I go with your product as the first option, and then I'm exploring option 3 and 4, the recall value should be there. Even though I am exploring the fourth product, how quickly will I switch or turn back again to the first product depends upon the recall value of that particular product. Your product should have such an impression that people remembered your product even while searching for other products. So make sure you have that. Then question and answers, very important point. A lot of buyers and customers, they have questions. Okay, is this fit or this size comfortable for so and so person? If this product is made of so and so material, if this product is good for hygiene, if this product works in the such and such voltage. So make sure any question that customers ask, it's a section in your detail page far down before your review start. That is where you have to answer any questions that the buyers have requested for your particular product. So make sure you have this. A lot of these go into the presentation and the quality of the seller that you are going to be. Amazon's algorithm, very important. As I told you guys, it is going to be a long video today. So SEO on Amazon is very important, and Amazon is a search engine for products. Be it any product, people normally go to Amazon and see how it is working. The best sellers rank, right? Again, it's a metric which basically identifies how, in which position your particular product should be shown for a particular keyword, right? So bestsellers rank is nothing but a unique rank which is given to your particular product at a category level. It keeps refreshing after every 1 hour. The lesser the bestsellers rank of your product, the better it is in that particular category. Again, keywords play a very important role. If your listing has a good number of keywords and the keywords have much more search volume in terms of demand, if people are searching for that particular keyword a lot more time, let's say 9,000 searches per month, and if that keyword is present in your listing, the more chances your listing has to be there on the first page of the of the search results. In terms of velocity, I guess the organic rank, which is the bestsellers rank, increases if you have more number of sales in that 1 hour slot. So every hour the BSR or the bestsellers rank refreshes, and it is directly proportional to the velocity or sales velocity that you have. Velocity is nothing but the number of sales by measured in terms of time. So in the last 1 hour, if you're getting a good amount of sales, your rank would improve, which would automatically improve your organic ranking, show you on the first page and at the top 3 or 4 products. Reviews, again, good reviews mean your rank gets a boost. When I say a boost, it can be in terms of thousands as well, and a bad review can push you down the rankings by thousands again. Indexation is basically a term in terms of scraping. So Amazon indexes or scrapes, it's called web scraping, scrapes your product detail page to find out which are the keywords listed on your detail page, and then it tries to understand what is your product talking about. So it's basically a machine learning algorithm, or it's artificial intelligence, which basically they use to identify what are the different keywords and what is your particular product related to this particular keyword. Relevancy is somewhere to do with indexation itself. So depending upon the keywords that you're using and the product that you're selling, depending upon the customer search and the orders that you're getting, is your product relevant in that particular context. So make sure that relevancy score is definitely more than 7-8, and we will we will not cover relevancy score calculation, but we will talk about how relevancy matters in Amazon's context. Okay, now that being said, let's come to fulfillment, which is again a very important process. As I mentioned in, I guess yesterday or before yesterday's class, order processing and inventory management comes under fulfillment. You must ensure that the health of inventory is good, right? When I say the products are there, you can see the number of products matching with your expected number. You are able to see the number of dead stock, and you want to clear the dead stock. You want to retrieve or get back the unfulfillable goods from the Amazon warehouse to your place so that you can fix it and sell it again. You should be mindful of the restock dates. When do you want to place the next order from your supplier so that you have the stock on time and you are not out of stock for a long time on Amazon. In fact, Amazon hates when you get out of stock, so make sure you restock or you reorder from your suppliers in time so that there's not a period in Amazon where you are out of stock. Sales projection, again, it is very important and goes with points 1 and 2. You must project in how many days will your stock be out of stock. If you know this very well, half the job is done. You will be able to predict the sales, you will be able to predict the cash flow, profitability, and as well as how or when the next reorder should be done. Customer messages or questions, again, as I covered in the previous slide, you have to be very prompt in answering any questions that they have in terms of fulfillment. If this product will be delivered, does the product has a return on it, or if it's non-returnable. All these things you should clarify with the customers. Any messages that they send you in terms of the product, how to use this particular product, how to assemble this particular product, make sure that you cover all of them. In terms of the order processing and handling time, as I mentioned, in terms of fulfillment, the handling time should be less than 3 days. That is what Amazon tracks very carefully. And if it is a lot more, if the product is getting a long time to reach the customer, your listing might be in the danger of getting suppressed as well, or removed for that matter. Damage quality test, as I mentioned, do a 3-feet drop test and see if during fulfillment your product does not get damaged. So that is one test to check the sturdity and to check the solidity of your particular product. That being said, the last portion that I want to cover is data is everything. Amazon is a data-driven platform, and make sure you keep a close tap on these metrics: the order defect rate, return percentage, voice of the customer, session percentage, advertisement cost, impressions, and conversions. Again, a lot of information here, and I would not go about explaining each one of them. We will definitely have dedicated sessions covering all of these metrics, but as I mentioned, data and analytics is very important. So if you are selling on Amazon, you have to go through order processing, fulfillment, and then look at the data. If it is good, something that can be improved, or something that needs to be fixed from your sales data perspective. So this is about analytics. You have to be very good statistician. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, but you got the idea, right? You have to be very good in analytics, right? So that's about Amazon's data-driven algorithm. And that's all for today. I hope that you got a lot of information, and these are all mandatory things. I never covered advertisement, I never covered PPC, I never covered keyword research. These are things that you can still learn over the time, but what I covered today are must-haves. These are things that you must know. Otherwise, you will not be doing very good sales, and you would end up being complaining to Amazon that it's not a good platform for sellers. So make sure that you have these basic grounds covered in terms of profitability, cash flow, terms of service, account health, fulfillment, and data. And I guess I missed one, but that's the crisp of it. Go back to the slides, check, watch the video again and again, but these are the things that you must know as an Amazon seller. The code for today to do the assignment on Instagram is ISA407. Make sure that you post this code while filling in the assignment form. We will see you again tomorrow on YouTube for day 8, and we will see you today after this video, I guess right after this video ends, on Instagram at 10:30 p.m. IST. See you guys. Thank you for joining, and have a good day.